Hey party people, welcome or welcome back. I'm Taylor, but I go by tramsue on all of my platforms. And today we are finally doing a life abroad Q&A. I'm gonna go ahead and get right into it, but before I do so, I do wanna ask, are you subscribed? Are you a part of the Party People family? Because over here we celebrate life every single day as a Party People, and where I want to be part of that. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button and we'll get right into the video. So all these questions are coming from my Instagram. If you're not following me on Instagram as well, make sure you do that at tramsue. I asked you guys on my stories to send in questions about life abroad in Greece, and you guys did just that. So I'm going to try to get to them as quickly as possible. So question number one, why did I move abroad? This is something that I genuinely wrote down years ago after studying abroad, and I didn't think it would come true. Honestly, I didn't think it'd be like a real thing for me, but I wrote it down and here we are now. It was a dream of mine after I studied abroad to live in a different country for a limited amount of time, and I was able to do that in a few short years after studying abroad. So it's been a dream of mine that I've wanted to do, and I didn't think it would happen this soon, but it did. I'm super excited that it did, because this trip, journey, stay has just been monumental for me. I have evolved in such a short period of time, and I'm so proud of the woman that I am becoming and that I am today. I know moving over here definitely had a huge impact on the rate of my growth, for sure. Why did I choose Greece? I chose Greece because I studied abroad here in 2019, and honestly I fell in love with it. Me and my best friend traveled to a good amount of countries while we were over here studying abroad, and I can say this was our absolute favorite country that we have traveled thus far. And it's really easy to get around for transportation. We were very familiar with the area. There's so much to do here. We love the food, the cuisine, the culture, the people, and so that's how we kind of landed on moving to Greece. Am I planning to stay forever? Am I coming back to the States? Sadly, I am not staying here forever, and I am going back to the States. We decided to only do the summer in Greece, so we are here from May until August. So while this is a very limited amount of time, it is still a pretty good amount of time for somebody to just up and move to a different country for, what is that, 4 months? June, July, 3 months. How is the language barrier? Most people are surprised that the average Greek person does speak English. So there really isn't that much of a language barrier. Of course, there are people who don't speak English here, but for the most part, everybody does speak English, and they speak it very well. So there really isn't that much of a language barrier, as much as people would think. Do I speak Greek? No, I don't speak Greek fluently, but I do speak a little bit, and by a little bit, I literally mean a little bit. But for me, anytime I travel to a country, whether it's just for a week, a month, or like I'm staying there, I always try to learn as many words as possible, because I've just noticed that anytime that you try to learn somebody else's language, when you're stepping into the country, into the culture, they're a lot more welcoming and a lot more helpful when they see that you're actually trying. So it doesn't matter where I go, I always try to at least learn like normal everyday sayings, because it's just a kind thing to do. What has been my experience with locals? I can't say that I've had a bad experience with locals here. The locals are really nice and kind. They're super helpful. If you ever need directions or assistance or whatever, they will 9 times out of 10 help you. And if they don't know where they're going, they'll talk to somebody else and get you an answer. But the locals here are very friendly, very kind. And for the most part, everybody just minds their business and goes on about their way. Do I get stared at often, and have I experienced racism here? So yes, you do get stared at, but not for the reasons that you may think. As a Black American, it can be easy to think that people are looking at you, especially when you're coming from the South. Like, I was born and raised in the South in America, so I know what it feels like to be stared at for being Black or feeling like you're less than. It's not the case over here, y'all, I promise you. Most of the time people are staring because A, they find you very, very gorgeous, and they'll most likely say it to you if they speak English. But yeah, I would say that the older people stare way more than the younger people. And I feel like as a Black person, you know the difference between stares too. So you know when it's like a racist stare, you know when it's just like a stare. And I can't speak for anybody else in their experience. Of course, everybody has their own experience, but I know 99.9% of the time people are staring at me because I am a beautiful woman, and that's just that. And so yeah, I get stared at, especially when I'm wearing makeup over here, but outside of that, everybody minds their business, like I said, so that's not something you really have to worry about. Racism, have I experienced any racism, racist comments? Y'all, no, absolutely not. Like, I have not experienced racism here. That's definitely a conversation me and my best friend have had. Like, I'm not hyper aware of my blackness here as I would be back in the States, especially being in the South, in a region where I'm definitely still the minority. Like, I can't even explain it, but I have not experienced any racism, any discrimination, anything like that. I have not experienced that here, not in this country. In other countries, yes, but not in this country. How is traffic and what does transportation look like? So traffic, of course, if you're going by car, traffic isn't that bad, but I have experienced really bad traffic when I was coming back from the airport a few weeks ago, and it was like bumper to bumper. It was flowing. It's definitely not giving like Atlanta or LA traffic for sure, but I feel like there's traffic anywhere, especially depending on the time. And the time that I was coming back from the airport was like 5 or 6 o'clock when everything shuts down and closes and people are like getting ready to start their evening and night. So yeah, but as far as transportation, Metro is very popular here. That is what me and my best friend use here. We have Metro passes for the duration of our stay. We paid, I think, 140 euro for it, and that pretty much covers all of our transportation. Of course, you can take taxis. We actually took a taxi back yesterday from one of our excursions, and you can use the app called Free Now. I'll leave it in the link below in case you're ever visiting Greece or you want to use a taxi while you're here in Greece. But also you can just catch a cab via cash as well. So you have taxi, you have public transit, and if you buy a car here and get your license, you can drive here as well. But yeah, I don't have a car here, and I'm not staying long enough to get a car. Public metro and public transportation works just fine for us. So what is one thing I wish Greece had that the US has instead that could be better, or that could better the country? I genuinely don't know. Like, the only thing I can think of is like Chick-fil-A. Like, for the past week I've been craving Chick-fil-A so bad, but yeah, I didn't come here to think about what they don't have. Like, and I feel like once you're here and you're immersed in the culture, it just becomes your norm. So yeah, I mean, just European countries in general, like, they don't have dryers, like you air dry everything. But with our apartment, the washing machine is a washer and a dryer, so that's not even something we have to worry about either. So yeah, I don't really think I would change anything. Was I afraid of living alone as a woman? No, I don't live alone. My best friend did come with me, but no, I don't have any fear of being alone here. For the most part, Greece is a pretty safe country. I believe their crime rate is like 1% or below 1%. Yeah, so I don't feel unsafe here. What do I love about the Greek lifestyle? This isn't necessarily specific to Greece. I think it's just specific to everyone outside of the US, specifically Europe. But there is such a work-life balance over here that just does not exist in the US. The flow of my work is just so much more seamless. I don't feel pressure to post. I don't feel pressure to like grind, because on a normal day, people are out having coffee at noon. Like, people are taking 1 to 2 hour breaks in the middle of the day, like sitting at cafes for hours and talking to their friends, or just like working. Like, I cannot describe the peace and the flow of life over here. It is just different. Like, grinding I don't want to say it doesn't exist over here, because for a lot of immigrants that is their reality. Like, it's no different from the United States, but it is just different over here. There's just a certain level of flow that everybody has. Like, you're not in a rush, you're just genuinely just kind of like breezing and floating through life. That's my favorite part about the Greek lifestyle. Are the portion sizes smaller than the US? For Greece, honestly, I would say no. You get a lot of food for the amount of money that you spend. And also it just depends on the restaurant, but in Greece specifically, no, the portion sizes are huge here. Like, and it's like that because for the most part, it's family style wherever you go, especially when you're going to like a Greek restaurant, like a traditional Greek restaurant. It's family style, so a lot of the portions are bigger because you're supposed to be sharing them with other people. But yeah, I wouldn't say the portion sizes are smaller than the US. How is healthcare in Athens? So for us, it is a little bit different because we are here for a limited amount of time. We do not go over the time you would need a visa. So for us, we are under travel insurance. So we have travel insurance. If anything happens, we are covered. But if you are staying long term, the healthcare system is called ESY or SE, and it is free to all Greek citizens, all expats, EU citizens, and also if you're unemployed. So everyone gets healthcare under that healthcare system, but because we aren't staying here long enough to receive that, we don't have that, but it is available for you if you're planning to stay longer and like get your visa. Do I need a visa? It depends on how long you're staying. So the very first time we stayed in Greece, we did have a student visa because we were going over that 90-day period. Anytime you're going into a Schengen area, you have 90 days or less to be in that specific area. So for us, we knew we didn't want to go through the process of going to the Greek consulate and getting our visas and just having to go through that whole process again. So we were staying 90 days, which is actually meeting that mark and heading back to the US. But before, we did have to go to the Greek consulate and get a visa, and basically you have to fill out this paperwork, you have to go for an interview, and they can either approve or deny you. There are different types of visas that you can get to come over here, so I'll leave all the information in the description bar below so you guys can like go and read further on that. But this time we didn't get a visa because it just wasn't necessary. So it just depends on how long you're staying. Any struggles with being away from family? For me personally, no. This is something that I've known I wanted to do for quite some time. I've been planning for it for quite some time. And for the most part, I was mentally prepared for it because I had done it before, but now I'm going with a lot more knowledge, a lot more wisdom, a lot more experience of traveling, with a lot more countries under my belt. So for me, no, not really. Of course you miss your family and just like the convenience of having them there like within your reach, but I genuinely love like living abroad and like traveling, and I've never been the type of person that's like been super homesick. That's just not me. A part of me does wish that my family could experience some of the things that I have experienced thus far, so they could like really just enjoy it. But outside of that, like, yeah, no issues there. What did my family say about me moving abroad? To be honest, I'm a very private person, even when it comes with my family. So I didn't tell them until like I already booked my apartment and like bought my ticket. Of course, my mom and my dad knew about it, but I'm a firm believer in not sharing your dreams or goals with other people, including family, until it's complete, until you like have everything set in stone. So by the time like my entire family knew, I only had like a few weeks left before I was leaving the country. That's just my personal preference. That's something that I live by. So they didn't really have much room to say anything. Yeah, so if they did have something to say, I didn't hear it, but they were super supportive. And yeah, of course you have those people who were like worried and try to project their fears onto you, but that didn't change anything. I'm still here. I'm having an amazing experience and a great time. So how is the modeling industry for Black models, and am I modeling full-time? So I could not tell you about that. I have not modeled full-time for like a very long time. Influencing has definitely taken over. I have got a few modeling opportunities while I've been over here, but I haven't taken them because right now like there are other things that I'm focused on. So yeah, I couldn't tell you about that. Is it easy to get a job in Greece? I would say no, it's not easy, and I will just say that simply because I think in any country, as an immigrant, it's going to be harder to get a job than someone who actually lives there, who was born there. And I've talked to a few immigrants, like, unless you're in a certain field, you're kind of in hospitality. And because I can work remote and I also saved up and planned for this, work necessarily isn't my focus right now. In that sense. What is the average salary? Over here, the average salary is right above 16,000 euro, which is very, very low. Of course, the cost of living is a lot cheaper here, but it is still very low for somebody who is supporting themselves. But yeah, the average salary here is not a lot, which makes it a lot easier as an American coming in because it's half the price or a quarter of the price that anything in the US would be. Am I influencing over here? Yes and no. Yes, in the sense of like I'm sharing my experiences on my platform, and in that way, yes, but as far as like brand deals and stuff, no. This is something that I planned for and prepped for a year, so that hasn't been my focus. Like I said, I'm working on another project right now. That has been my priority, and so just keep my focus on that. And then when I can give you guys content and like share my experiences and all that other stuff, I will and I can. But when I get back to the States, that'll be my main focus. But for right now, it's really not. How much should I save before leaving? It all depends on your trip, your stay, your lifestyle, like how you want to live, your preferences of like living situations and everything. So for me, I saved a little over $8,000, closer to $9,000 for 3 months, and I believe my best friend saved closer to $10,000 for 3 months, and that has literally worked for us. Like, we are good, we are set, and we are able to still travel. We do have another trip coming up that is like a really major trip for us, but yeah, like it just depends on your preference, like how big of an apartment you want, how close do you want it to like the central areas, all that stuff. But for us, it was between $8,000 and $10,000 for 3 months. But also we had a better understanding of how much we should save because we lived here before as students, so we knew what we could work with and what were like our non-negotiables. How do taxes work? Y'all, I'm not here permanently, so can't answer that. The cost of living in comparison to the US, so it is definitely a lot cheaper. Groceries are a lot cheaper. Like, we can get 2 weeks worth of groceries under $100. Food here can range between like 5 to 10 euro, which is like $6 to $11 in American currency. Like I said, transportation, we paid 140 euro for 3 months. That's what I pay in 1 month of gas for my car. So it is definitely a lot cheaper than the US, which is why we were able to stay here for so long and not work in a traditional sense. So yeah, it is a lot cheaper. I don't want to elongate this video. I hope this video was super helpful for y'all. Y'all got a better understanding of this living abroad situation. Like I said, this time is very limited. We are only here for a few months, but I'm so glad that I was able to take this opportunity as a 20-something-year-old, like taking life in my hands and just like living my life and living my best life and like doing the things that I said I was going to do and stick to my goals and planning and all that good stuff. I hope this inspires you to go after every single dream that you have, because you can do it with God. All things are possible, and I'm so excited to continue to share this journey with y'all. Please make sure you are subscribed because the Life Abroad series is still going. Don't miss any episodes. And episodes drop every Sunday, so make sure you're not missing out. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment how you feel in the comment section below. I love you, God loves you, and always, 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 always stay prayed up, stay motivated, and I will catch y'all in the next one. Bye, y'all.